Welcome to my Laravel from scratch course where I will teach you all the fundamental things that you need to know to become a good Laravel developer. Besides that, I will also create a couple projects such as a complete blog, e-commerce, and things like CRM systems. Before we continue on, if you like my content and you want to see more, there's a red button down below which says subscribe. So if you want to see more, just click on it, and otherwise, enjoy the video. All techniques used in this course are based on Laravel 8. I will definitely show you what the differences is between Laravel 6, 7 and 8, but my main focus is mostly Laravel 8. The way I like to work is to basically explain difficult subjects as easy as possible and as fast as possible. Usually, people try to make a certain topic difficult, but that's the opposite of me. My main goal is to basically teach you something in quote-unquote simple terms. And besides that, I will add source code on every single video, so if you run into an issue, just have a look at it and see what the differences are. Now Laravel is a little bit more advanced than plain PHP, so it is a good idea to start learning some other things first if you are new to coding. Think about the basic concepts of plain PHP, object-oriented PHP, mostly terms like inheritance, interfaces and polymorphism, and the clear idea of what the MVC structure actually is. Laravel runs in a Blade template, but it's mostly based on HTML5 and CSS3. You can see Laravel as an open source PHP framework. It uses the model view controller design pattern, which makes it very easy to reuse existing components of different frameworks. Usually the first question I get is, well, why should I ever use Laravel if I'm good in PHP? And to be honest, I get that. Because PHP is a programming language and Laravel is a framework that is built in PHP. And I hope that that makes sense because, well, there is no Laravel without PHP. And to give you another example, if we look at the motorcycle, PHP is like the bare bones of the motorcycle. And you can see Laravel as the engine, the exhaust, frame, wheels of the motorcycle. So yes, PHP is way more powerful. But Laravel makes it possible to create PHP-based projects easier, and I mean a lot easier since it does most of the work for us. So what are the advantages of using the Laravel framework? Well, first of all, authentication. Authentication in Laravel is very simple. If you have ever created a login system in plain PHP, you must know that it takes a while before you do all the checks and so on. Well, Laravel provides a simple way to organize authorization logic and control access resources. Also the mail services. In plain PHP, it's terrible to use. Laravel provides a clean, simple API over popular drivers. It can make web applications way faster, because in PHP you constantly need to remove your cache. Well, you don't need to do that in Laravel. And the last and, in my opinion, the best point is the security. Laravel helps to secure the web application by protecting it against the most serious security risks. Think about things like SQL injection, cross-site request forgery, cross-site scripting. And I can name a lot more advantages, but these are just a couple. Everything has disadvantages, and so does Laravel. It is a new framework that makes use of Composer, which is not as strong as NPM. It has less inbuilt support compared to Django and Ruby on Rails, and some updates that come out might be problematic. There are a couple very good PHP frameworks like Symfony, CodeIgniter, CakePHP and Zend, but in my opinion, Laravel has retained the top position at the list because of the security that it provides, the MVC architecture, migration of databases, and the command line interface. These are not the projects that we will be creating in this course, but I get a lot of questions of people asking what they can create with Laravel. Keep in mind that these things usually require more than Laravel only. Most of them have stuff like Vue or JavaScript for the front end. Obviously, we could create a basic website which will ensure you to become familiar with JavaScript. You can create a to-do list, which will make you understand the core concepts of Laravel. You can create a login system, but in Laravel, you can build a login system in pretty much 5 minutes, but it is a good practice to try it out. You can create a blog where you can learn how to create a CRUD application. You can create a bookmark manager, timesheet, let's say a restaurant order app, a personal portfolio, a content management system like WordPress. Or think about Shopware, which is built in Symfony. You can create a social network like Twitter or Instagram, and you can create an e-commerce. If we hop to the official website of Laravel called laravel.com, you can find a button on the homepage which says Documentation. So let's click on it. Whether you like reading or not, or you're just like me that enjoys watching videos instead of reading long pieces of text, I still think that the Laravel documentation is very nice. I've saw a lot of comments on the internet of people saying that they do not like the Laravel documentation, and I totally respect that, since everyone has his own opinion on it. I think it is necessary for me to show you how it actually works before we continue on, since it's such a huge part of Laravel itself. Now on the left hand side of the screen, you can see the topics that we are going to cover in this course. Whenever you click on one, it will open a new screen that will show you content based on that specific topic. What the Laravel documentation does is basically the steps that we need to follow in order to accomplish something. And even inside the section, you can navigate. So right here. Right now we're in the installation part, but we could also go to configuration or the pretty URLs. If we scroll down, you can see section 1, installation. And it has the server requirements that we need. And if we scroll down, you can see how we could actually install Laravel through Composer. Now, let's click on database, just to see what happens. You can see a drop-down menu with a couple other options. So let's click on migrations to see what will appear. The database migrations are basically the version controls for your database. Let's say that you don't want to run your Laravel on version 8. Well, in the top right corner, you can basically change it to whatever version you want. The lowest is 4.2 and the highest is 8. The X stands for, well, everything after the 6th point. So it could be 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. There's also a search bar that we could use. So let's write down many to many, which is an eloquent relationship. The first option is the one that we need. So let's click on it. And you can see that we have been redirected to the part of eloquent relationships, #many to many. To get a good understanding of what a many to many is, they have a piece of text which you can read. So a many to many relationships are slightly more complicated than has one and has many relationships. Well, we can see the table structure, the model structure, and how we could use it. What I'm trying to show you is that the search bar is very accurate. Whenever you run into an issue, just come over to the Laravel documentation and try to search for your issue. This was it for this video about the Laravel documentation, and I hope to see you back in the next one.